Hey there, it's MarVeena. This is part two of my live today with the angels. And we do have some wind going on in the area. The internet system might be a little bit wonky. But anyhow, hey there. I apologize, everybody. Be sure and put your questions down in the comments, and I am going to get to those right away. But hey there, I see you. That's cute. One of the things that the Archangel Michael really wants to encourage us is to examine our commitment to the truth and to being in our integrity and in our impeccability, and to basically be where we say we'll be, when we say we will be there, and do what we say we will do. And if we can live by that, then we're in harmony with the truth. Often people will see the Archangel Michael surrounded with a blue cloak or a blue robe. And anytime that you feel scared or worried, just in your mind or out loud if you want to, just call the Archangel Michael and say, thank you for surrounding me with your blue cloak of protection. And this is a great little healing prayer and protection prayer that you can use at any time, and you can also easily teach your kids. So that's a great way to help them to kind of feel a sense of control, especially at night if they're worried about sleeping, so that they can feel safer while they're sleeping, is to teach them how to call the angels, call the archangels to help them out. So hello, everybody. Thank you all. Hi, Judy. Hi there. So that is one of the things that we want to remember, is to use that blue cloak of protection when we feel vulnerable, when we feel out of sorts, or that we might be out of our element. All of the angels, especially the teaching angels, they help us to do what we can to engage with our soul journey from a place of faith, a place of courage, a place of heart and commitment to the big picture instead of what the ego wants. Often people will see the Archangel Michael with the sword, and the sword has a lot of symbolism. But for me, one of the biggest ways that I think of it is helping us to cut our attachments to things that are not serving our soul's purpose anymore. So if we find ourselves attached to a person that is unhealthy for us, or a relationship that is not working for us anymore, or to a way of thinking, like a belief system, a philosophy, anything that's like an unhealthy thought process, or anything that is blocking our soul from being able to make progress, then the Archangel Michael can use that sword of truth to help sever our connection to whatever that is, and to be able to elevate our consciousness to a higher way of understanding whatever it is that we're committed to. So be sure, when you feel like you're going down like a process where you know you're attached to something that's not healthy for you, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, or even spiritual, like a religious path that is limiting you, or binding you, or restricting you, or controlling you in any way, then ask the Archangel Michael to use that sword of truth and protection to sever your attachments to whatever is no longer serving you. So that is one of the reasons that you see that the sword, and then often you'll see him with that dragon. And in that circumstance, the dragon is representing something that's holding you back. But we also have dragon spirits on the higher dimensions that can be very beneficial in clearing out negative energies or any negative thought forms or even psychic attacks. So you can call upon Archangel Michael's dragons, and they can help to protect your house, surround your house with strong layers of protection. If you have children in school that you worry about, ask the dragon spirits from the Archangel Michael's realms to completely surround the school above and below and around and about, and to just protect the kids while they're at school. There are many, many different ways that you can work with the Archangel Michael. And if you would like to work with him more, it isn't hard to do it all. You can just find a quiet place in your house or in nature and just get grounded and ask the Archangel Michael to sit with you, to help you sort out whatever things are going on in your life, and to figure out a path that can help you to move forward and stay on your soul's highest path, or to get back on your soul's highest path, plan, and purpose. So don't worry about, am I doing it right? Or am I going to, stir something up? If you have a pure heart and you ask for angels of light who love you and the Archangel Michael in particular, then you're going to be able to connect to a angelic being and not to an ugly spirit. So I had some questions on here. I also wanted to tell you that the Archangel Michael is connected to the sapphire and to other blue stones like the lapis, and there's different blue minerals and stones that really hold his vibration, but the sapphire is one that holds the light of Archangel Michael the strongest. So if you are in a particular worry about psychic protection or protection in any way, then find a sapphire, and it doesn't have to be a big one. That any sapphire will hold the light of Archangel Michael and help you to channel that light and that protective quality around you. All right, so I have a question on here from, let's see. Okay, so we already answered that one. Nikki LaFollette wants to know, how do I know if I'm talking to a good angel or a good spirit and not a fallen angel? So Nikki, that's a very good question. And that's something that worried me for a long time, because I was brought up in a very strict, in a Baptist religion. And that was one thing that the preacher always said, it kind of cautioned us a bit, against talking to spirits. But how do you know that you're not talking to a fallen angel? So this is where it's important that we practice the art of discernment. And I know for some of you, you might find it hard to believe that your own physical, mental, emotional body is a fabulous machine or mechanism that can help you to connect on many, many different levels, and to be able to discern the quality of what that energy represents. And so we have to get used to kind of checking within, and does this feel good? Does it feel icky? Does it feel wonky? And to make our decisions based on how we feel about it, our emotions about it. Does it feel right or not? Now, sometimes whenever a person is sick, or they might be going through some emotional overwhelm or different challenging situations, then they may find it hard to trust their own senses of what they get. But usually, what works best for me is to just get grounded and really kind of go into the heart and create the intention to connect to angels of light who love me on the fifth dimension or higher. And in particular, in this circumstance, the Archangel Michael. And then just trust that you are on the right line, that you're calling into the right person, the right angel for this. And then just send your question out. And then what you have to do is just trust that you've launched the question, and that the angels and Archangel Michael are going to bring you an answer, and that you have the physical mechanism that you can receive that answer. A lot of times our power has been taken away from us in a lot of different ways. Religions, a lot of time, they don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to kind of play by their rule book and to ask them if it's right or wrong, or if it's okay. And it's very important that we understand that we don't need anybody to intercede on our behalf, like a preacher or a priest. That we have a built-in kind of a right to be able to connect to the Holy Spirit and to the angelic realm and to our guides, teachers, and angels, and to receive inspiration, encouragement, whatever data, whatever resources that we need that will help us to stay moving forward on our soul's path. And for a lot of us, it is hard to do, because we don't trust ourselves to maybe make good choices, or we're afraid we're gonna open a can of worms, open Pandora's box. But I think it's important that we start to take the steps to stand on our own and make the effort to do things ourselves, rather than rely on someone else to tell us how it is, or to make up our mind for us. It's very important. It's a part of us being able to step up into the I am aspect of ourselves. And we are in a much better position to create more powerfully and to manifest whatever it is that we need on any level: physical health, prosperity, opportunities, abundance, connections, love, whatever it is. So when you are willing to be responsible and to kind of claim that I am status, and make decisions based on what you feel is right and what your gut instinct responds to, the universe gives you so much more opportunities. It's just crazy, the difference. So whenever you're worried that you might be kind of tapping into a realm that is not good, then you have to consider your own emotional, mental state. And if you're in a bad frame of mind, if you have been abusing substances like drugs or alcohol, or even just negative thoughts, then you have to get really grounded, surround yourself with white light, ask your angels of light who love you to sit with you and to back out of your your energy field, anything that's negative, any negative entities or energies, just ask your angels to back them out of your space, and then call in the Archangel Michael for courage to be able to sever your attachments to whatever is not serving you, like your fear of trusting your own instincts, worry, whatever negative emotion it is. So it's a good question, but it's important that we learn to practice discernment. And it's one of the most important things that we can learn here in this lifetime. All right, so let me see what other questions. Jerry Robbins, why do I have dreams of running in the woods with wolves? So a wolf is a totem, an animal totem guide. So your angels are just encouraging you to know that you have a family group on the other side, and you have all kinds of spirit guides and totems and angelics that kind of work with you to help you be able to move forward in this life and do what you came here to do. In this circumstance, the wolves are acting as teachers in being able to work as a group for the benefit of the community or of the pack in this circumstance, because the wolves, they hunt as a team. They take care of all of the members of the pack, and they know how to work together so that the whole pack survives. So this dream is just talking about working as a group in your community for the higher good of all. So I also have a wolf totem, and usually I'm not running with my wolf, but I'm flying with it. So that's one of my favorite dreams whenever I have that experience. Like I'll wake up and I'll be holding on to hands full of fur and just flying through the treetops with a wolf guide. So I don't get to do that one very often, but I love it whenever I do. All right, so Karen Carter wants to know, what is the difference between a guide and an angel? That's also a good question. So a spirit guide is usually a soul who has had a physical incarnation, and they understand the feeling of limitations of the physical. So they've been here, they've done it, they understand all of the funky stuff that we get into, and the mindset, worry, the fears, the illusion and delusion. And so the Holy Spirit only allows us to have spirit guides that are of a higher vibration than we are, and that have mastered some of the things in their physical incarnations that we're wanting to particularly work with in our physical journey here. And so they can offer us a little bit of insight that is different than what our angels do. And they can help us to kind of navigate through the different conundrums that we find ourselves into. So for the most part, but not 100% of the time, angels have never been incarnated into a physical body. There are a few circumstances, but it is, for the most part, they only incarnate in, or they don't incarnate. They are strictly set up as helpers for the Holy Spirit. So be sure and write your comments in the write your questions in the comments there. And if you would like to be notified of when I have events, then sign up for my Angel Connection program. And I have some different meditations on there with the Archangel Michael. And that is one really good way of being able to create a stronger connection with the angels and with the Archangel Michael in particular, is by just setting aside a little bit of time to meditate. So it's a free program. It's up at the top of the page. It's called Angel Connections. So be sure and sign up for that before you go. And it will, every week I'll let you know when I'm doing events, and it allows you to post some questions early that way too. All right, so I have another question. Lee wants to know, what do I need for meditation? What do I need to know for meditation? Okay, so we don't need anything in particular to meditate, although there are some things that I've used over the years that can kind of enhance the experience, but you'll learn by trial and error. To me, the main thing is to have a really quiet room. And I like to know that my house is quiet. Like, I really don't like to meditate when other people are in the house, although I can, and I have. But I like to just know that the house is quiet, turn off your phone. It's important that you set boundaries around the things that are important to you in your life, such as your commitment to a meditation program. So you might want to post a sign on the door, do not disturb, I'm meditating. And so those are the big pieces. The other things that can be helpful are music. So I like to use, there's several different types of meditations of music that I found useful, but the shaman's drum is really awesome. I love flute music to meditate to. Nature sounds. One of my favorite was a thunderstorm meditation that I just absolutely loved. And there's a lot of guided meditations, and that's why I suggested that you sign up for my Angel Connection program, because I have some guided meditations on there. And I also have some protection prayers. So those can be very useful. Other tools that are helpful, but not, you don't have to have them, but it's helpful to have some incense, a really good quality incense. And to me, that's not at the chain grocery store, but I usually get mine, I order it online. And a candle, you can burn some sage or some sweetgrass to kind of raise the vibration of the room that you're in. I like to use an eye pillow if I'm going to be meditating, lying down. There's so many different ways that you can meditate, and I do talk about some of those in the Angel Connection program. But the main thing is to just create a commitment to a regular routine, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes a day of just clearing your mind, asking your angels to sit with you and to help you to sort things out and connect to your higher guides and teachers. Then over a period of time, you're going to figure out the things that work for you. Another thing that is really useful is are some breathing techniques. And to me, they're just like night and day difference, but I call them the Hatha Yoga breathing techniques. And they can really help to get a lot of highly charged, spiritually highly charged oxygen into your brain, into the different organs in the brain that can help us here in this lifetime. So the breathing meditations are fabulous. There's so many different ways that you can meditate. It's just crazy. if you are going through a time of illness and depression, then this can be just your saving grace. So definitely, you can look online for different types of meditations, but you don't really have to have any bells and whistles, just a quiet room. You could go out and sit in the backyard with your back to a tree, and that can be a fabulous meditation too. All right, so be sure and let me know where you're coming in from. Post where you're from so I can see how far this has gone. Deb Mason writes, I feel like there's no light left since my husband died, and I don't know what to do anymore. So this is, so when I connect with your angels, Deb, they're just telling me that what we were just talking about can be very helpful for you right now, to set aside some time to pray, to meditate, to ask your angels to sit with you. And in particular, what I would suggest is asking them to back the grief energy out of your space, so that more light from your higher self can pull in light from the Holy Spirit. And ask that your husband, that his spirit sit with you in your meditation and just spend some time with you. So this can be very helpful to kind of help you to pull yourself back together again. But anytime that we're heavy in grief, it kind of it works against us, because that grieving energy sort of creates a gray, wet blanket around our golden web, and that just helps us to, it makes us feel disconnected from what could help us, from each other, from the Holy Spirit, from our angels, anything that could help us. That grief energy, it just creates this kind of fog that it makes it hard for light to get through. So diligently sitting with Spirit every day, asking Archangel Michael to bring more light into your golden cocoon, the web around your body, the light bodies, to back out the icky stuff, the sadness, the depression, the pain, the worry, the guilt, whatever the lower energies are that are kind of like blocking you from being able to make any progress. Ask the Archangel Michael to use that sword to cut whatever attachments to that is. Sometimes we might feel guilty that we're still here and that our loved one is gone. And so we might feel like it's not proper for me to move on or to have any sense of joy or enjoy life at all anymore. So that would be guilt. So the Archangel Michael can sever that connection to guilt. It's not serving a purpose to you or to your husband anymore. And and actually, I think it frees up his energy on the other side, because as long as he knows that you are in this horrible state of depression and sadness, he knows he's the cause of it, or that his death is the cause of it. So it's hard for him to make progress with his soul's path on the other planes when he's worried about you. And he's not going to, do you see that cute little orb floating by? I think that's his way of saying, I'm here, and you'll see me again, and it's going to be okay. So it's a hard part of our soul's evolution, but it is something that you can push through. Give yourself a while, kind of a couple of years, at least a year, as a state of grace, and ask your own angels to to bring the angel grace to you, the angel of love, the angels of compassion, and to help you sort things out and to get into a better frame of mind, and more importantly, to be able to connect with the spirit of your husband. And usually your loved ones can kind of, they have an easier time of visiting you while you're sleeping at night, because the part of our self that judges our experience is not so active, so it's a little bit easier to get in. Okay, but give yourself some time, and you'll be able to get into a better frame of mind. All right. Okay, so Candy wants to know if her mama's okay. Okay. So Candy, I feel like your mom is doing very well on the other side, and she just said that she feels like a load of weight was lifted off of her shoulders, that that she was in a lot of pain, and that whenever that she wasn't afraid whenever she started the death journey, that she says that it's that you think of it wrong because you feel more alive the more that your soul releases from the limitations of your body. And she didn't realize that, but she says to know that your body is not you. Your soul is using your body to navigate this journey here, but it's not who you are. And she says it helps you if you can just think of it like that. But she loves you so much. You're her baby. She's so proud of you. So I'm seeing like a little kitten, like a cub. So I don't know what to make of that little symbol there. But anyhow, she's happy to get to visit a little bit, and she wants you to tell brother hello, and your daddy, and to trust that you'll see her again. And she wants you to enjoy your life and not to let sadness take over. She says that she wants you to be happy, however you find that. She said to keep that man of yours in line too. She says you do have angels too, and they try to talk to you all the time. And she said sometimes you listen and sometimes you think you're making it up. But anyhow, she's with her sister, and I think there's some cousins that are around as well. So just know that they're there, and they're excited to get a little bit of a visit with you. All right. Now, I don't know if Dorothy is with your mom or someone else in the family, but I also felt like Dorothy was around. Okay, so I have another question. Judy Braddock would like to hear from her sister-in-law. So Judy, I feel like you've got a lot of angels around you and a lot of family that are just trying to reassure you that life goes on even without a physical body, and not to feel like that it's over for you. I feel like your mother-in-law is there too, and your sister-in-law. And I see a dog that kind of puts me in mind of a, I don't know, it's small, but it's fluffy and kind of like a poodle, but not. I mean, I don't think it's a purebred poodle, but anyhow, seems like there's a fluffy white dog in there that was connected to somebody in the family. And I see like Indian head pennies. And so it just makes me feel like there is something about pennies. I don't know if you find pennies, but I saw that, or if there was somebody there that had a coin collection or pennies. But you'll have to let me know what you get about the pennies. But your sister-in-law she's around. They just want you to know that they're okay on the other side. And I know we're talking about Michael, but is there also an M name connected? Let me know, Michelle or Mitchell, something with an M. So I don't know if it's connected with you or with your family there. All righty. So what else do we have here? Let's see. So Nora Sanchez says she loves my horse. Yes, I love that horse too. It's like one of my most favorite things that I have. You know, I'm a horse girl, and that's how I actually got started connecting to the angels. I used to be a rodeo girl, and I had a bad accident a long time ago. I had a horse that reared up and flipped over on top of me, and I had a near-death experience, and it was very traumatic, but honestly, it was one of the coolest things that ever happened to me. It's hard to explain. Those two could happen simultaneously, but it was just amazing. I hit the ground so hard that it just knocked the life right out of me, and I went straight into like the bardo process, and it wasn't scary at all. I knew that I was leaving my body, but I absolutely had no fear about it. I had no concern about it. I wasn't worried about anybody left behind, even though I was very young. But you just know whenever you're going through that process, you know the continuity of life, and you understand that that your loved ones left behind, that they're going to be able to eventually maybe make sense of it and move on. But you just it's kind of like nature takes over, and you know what to do. I knew where to go, and I was very actually excited about it. And I have to tell you, at that time in my life, there was nothing going wrong. Like there was no sadness, there was no depression, there was no problems. I was young, I was healthy, and but I had absolutely zero problem turning my back on this dimension, on that body that I had, and just zipping right out of there. And but I did go past my council, my angel council, and they're like, not time for you. You have more to do. And so they didn't let me argue. If they would have let me argue my case, I would have argued to stay on the other side, and which I find so crazy, but I would have. And but they didn't let me, because they knew that I had a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish here. And we don't realize it, but getting set up in the physical is quite a challenge. When, we're looking for parents, we're looking for different people in our soul family that can help to set us up with a certain physical characteristics, a socio-economical background, different sorts of interactions that we need to work off certain parts of karma, or that we want to work with, different ways of self-mastery that we want to pursue. It's not easy to get a physical vehicle organized. And so if we have one that's set up kind of in the right path, and we don't want to wreck it if we can help it, and we want to make full use of that vehicle for expression. And so that's what I was trying to say. But so they go to a great deal of effort to help us kind of stay alive for all of the things we need to be here for. And I know in my case that it was very difficult because now I'm a cowgirl at Spirit. I have all these horses and kind of play rough with them. And so I know they've had to work overtime to keep me healthy and alive. I love the hearts. Thank you all. All right, let me see what else here. Okay. Hey, Alicia. You need to come and see me sometimes. Oh, Kimberly saw the orbs. Okay, that's so cool. So Molly lost her best friend. Her best friend lost her mother with no explanation. And okay, so she said she was getting signals from her mom, but now she doesn't seem to be getting them. And I guess this is her birthday. So you just want to let your friend, hopefully you can share this video with her, and maybe she'll be able to get some insight in it. But the loved ones on the other side, they don't stay with us all the time. They still are a soul in progress. Like they still are working their pieces and are pursuing lessons. They're just focused in another astral plane instead of this astral plane, or instead of this physical reality. And so they do come back and check on us from time to time, but they don't hover. I think whenever we're in deep grief, often they will stay closer for longer periods of time until they feel like we're sort of getting a grip and pulling ourselves back together. And then they move on towards some of the things that they need to participate in. So just let your friend know that her mom is at peace on the other side, and to whenever she feels like she really needs to connect with her, to just get herself into a quiet state of mind, and she can maybe light a candle, have a photograph of her mother sitting by her, and just ask her angels to connect to her mom and to let her know that she wants to visit. And then you have to trust your ability to discern when her spirit is around, and that all goes back to us, like being able to kind of up level our game and know in our heart of hearts when we feel something, and acknowledge that, rather than waiting for somebody else to say, yeah, that was your mom there. At some point, we have to be willing to be responsible, to use our own sensory mechanisms. And we have fabulous sensory mechanisms, whether we know it or not. We do. We have all of these kind of like intuitive feelers that stream out from us, and they discern what other energies are around us. So just trust that you will feel her presence, and you might see a shadow, you might see some little twinkly lights, or particularly I think out of the right side in the right corner is where you might get a sense, especially at night before you go to bed. So just if you see a little light on the right side of the room at night, I think that's her way of just touching base and just kind of checking in on you to make sure that you're okay. But we have to take our ability to receive messages to a higher level. It's like we get spoiled at being able to use our 5 senses to communicate, to validate our experiences, but we have higher senses than our 5 major senses. So we can use those to hear her when her thoughts, or to hear her messages. We can use our higher sense of vision, our third eye, to maybe discern the energy around. Like you might see shadows. It might feel like maybe foggy in the room, or a little bit denser. You might see like little shimmers or sparkles of light. You might use the smell, like you might smell something different, like her perfume. I can't remember what clair that is, but I think it's a word. It's hard to say. But we have clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance. There's several different clairs, and they're higher levels of discernment. And we all have them. Even people that think they don't have a psychic bone in their body, we all have higher senses. And don't let anybody tell you any different. It's just because you may not know how to really tap into that part of yourself doesn't mean that you are not hardwired for that. But when a loved one passes on, it forces us to use our higher senses to maintain a communication with them. And that's what we have to do, whether we like it or not. But we can connect to them on a good level, to where we feel where we can feel their love, we can feel their energy around us. But the important thing is that you have your heart open and your mind open, and you have that desire to connect to your mom. Your desire is kind of like that's what goes out to the universe and sort of pulls her spirit to you, is your desire to connect. But the important thing is that that you don't hold her earthbound, that you don't want to beg her to stay here, because that would kind of go against sacred law. So it's important that we don't do that. And but I would just do that and make a regular time to kind of have a little talk with her. Like my mother has a chair that belonged to my uncle, and was like her favorite uncle or her favorite brother. And so she'll have her coffee in the morning, and his chair is on the other side of the porch. And so she'll be sitting there, and she just kind of imagines that he's sitting there, and has like her morning coffee with her favorite brother, because he was kind of a good source of inspiration and wisdom to her while she was growing up. So you have to find ways to like a place in your house that feels connected to your mom, or maybe some jewelry that she had. You can hold that, and that helps to even more pull her spirit to you. So they're telling us it's time to close our circle, but I do want to invite you to sign up for my angel communication program. It's free. I have several meditations on there, and different ways that you can connect to your own angels. And I will let you know when I have my next live events, and you can send in your questions early. And sometimes if I can meditate on them earlier, it's easier for me to answer them here in this Facebook Live. So next week, I will be on either Wednesday or Thursday, but I'll let you know if you're on that Angel Connection program. I will let you know. And in the meantime, be sure and spend some time with your own angels today, and ask the Archangel Michael to help you to kind of sort out where you might be needing more courage to face the unknown, or to move forward on your soul's path and highest purpose. And just trust that the Archangel Michael and your own team of angels will help you to make some good progress. So it's been awesome spending some time with you today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks a lot for stopping by.